Hey guys, Kyle with Dirt Bike Channel here. Today you're going to hear the sultry tones of a 302 stroke in the midst of a 1 mile climb. Now I don't mean that we only went 1 mile, I mean that we actually climbed 1 mile in elevation on this ride. The thing is not fuel injected, and this was actually the stock carburetor on the bike, and just to show you that these things can still scream at over 10,000 feet. Take a listen to this. Now, in full disclosure, the section that we just saw was probably about 8,200 feet, which is nothing to shake a stick at because that's still well over 1.5 miles above sea level. But as we continue to climb up to, over 10,000 feet on this ride, it just blows me away that these bikes can actually scream up at these altitudes. If your bike is jetted correctly, yes, you can ride. And we rode from my buddy's house, which was down at about 5,800 feet, and we went up well over 10,000 feet, which was 1 mile in elevation, and we end up there at 2 miles above sea level. Pretty awesome. After taking that hard hit, you'll notice me reach up there and see if my GoPro is still on, because that branch about took my head off. That's one of the reasons why I like having the GoPro on the front of the with the ProShot camera mount that you've seen me talk about recently, is because holy cow, you have it on the side and some of the time you can get that caught on a branch and it about takes your freaking head off. These are forest roads that we're riding on, and they're actually a ton of fun because there's a lot of obstacles in them. You've got rocks, you've got roots, you've got ruts, and you have a bunch of different things that you have to be paying attention to. But the trail's a little bit wider, so it affords you to be able to go a little bit faster than I do on some of the single track that we ride a lot. So this was a really fun change of pace for me, because the scenery was absolutely epically beautiful. But you can some of the time you can get up into third gear, get up into fourth gear. There was even a couple of spots up on top where we were up in fifth gear, just kind of pinned and letting those and opening those bikes up. So it was a fun ride this day. desert, there's a ton of times when you're out in you know, high third gear and fourth gear and fifth gear, but there's not that many times when you can be up in the Alpine Mountains 2 miles above sea level and be, you know, in those upper gear ranges. So this was a ton of fun this day. And one of the other things that you're always kind of watching for when you're riding in terrain like this is just you can see some of those logs kind of sticking out and you've got branches. I about had, on another ride a couple years ago, I about had a log run me through. Now watch us wheelie through this ditch here. I mentioned that on one of the previous videos, how I can tell if I'm tired or not, if I'm wheeling through ditches and wheeling through things. So I can tell that this was towards the beginning of the ride and I still had plenty of energy because we're, you know, jumping over logs and we're wheeling through ditches and stuff. But one of the things that you're, like I was mentioning, one of the things you're constantly worried about at the speeds that we're going is you're always looking to see if there's a deadfall tree and what that deadfall tree has sticking out of it, because seriously, they can have spears. If you look and see all those pines that are knocked down, you can see that how they have these spears sticking out all over, and you know, in the form of old dead branches. And you have to really be watching because you can impale yourself pretty badly on some of those things. So that's kind of the beauty of these rides, is there's so much that you have to kind of be paying attention to, and woods riders know exactly what I'm talking about. So woods riding and mountain riding gives, you know, a whole different perspective and different things that you're looking for when you're up in the mountains versus when you're out in the desert. So it's just a ton of fun to be able to go out and ride in a lot of these varying terrain areas, and I'm so lucky here in Utah that we've got such a wide variety of stuff that we can ride. We can get out into the sand dunes, we can get out in the desert, you know, out in the whoops, and then we can also get up in tight woods single track, and then we can do also stuff like this where it's still in the mountains, but you've got a little bit more space. You can kind of pick your lines, so to speak. So it is a major blessing to be able to ride here in the western United States. Everybody's got good, you know, a lot of areas in the country have some really awesome terrain. Back in the, you know, in the Northwest, they've got some really awesome stuff, and you guys on the East Coast, you've got some stuff that I'd love to go and check out someday. And even, man, you think about all the stuff in Europe, there's a ton of really awesome places to ride on this planet. As I sit here and edit this footage and listen to my bike going up this mountain, I seem to think that my Lectron carburetor makes my bike run a little bit better in the mid-range. As I listen to this ping, it's running good. I had this. This is the Kian carburetor, the stock carb on this 2015 300XC, and it was running very well. But I think the Lectron has it running just a little bit better than this. Some of that fourth and fifth gear stuff I was talking about at 2 miles above sea level. You heard me right, 2 miles above sea level.